You're listening to Life and Shyt. I'm Danielle Walker.
And I'm Tommy Walker.
Join us as we talk about our journey overcoming fears, boundaries, marriage, family, lifestyle, business, and whatever other shit you can think of.
We're individuals that came together to create one unit with one mind and one goal.
Hey, baby.
What's up, girl?
What's going on?
Got a question for you.
Got a question for me?
Yeah, this is your wheelhouse. So, I think you're going to do very, very good here on this show. We'll talk about meditation. Is meditation easy?
Is meditation easy? Yes. No. It depends.
What the hell was that?
Yes. No. It depends. It depends. Meditation is easy for different people, right? It depends on where you are in your practice. It depends on how long you've been doing it. It depends on...
So what if your first time, never meditated before?
I wouldn't say it was easy. I would say it's something that you have to work at. Just like anything that you practice, you have to practice at meditation as well. Okay,
so would it say, so that's based off of how long you want to meditate then, or is that just based off of how you meditate?
Either, always, all of that, right? Because how long you do it, either however you do it, it still matters, right? If you're just silent for 2 minutes or 1 minute or whatever, you still meditated. Mm-hmm. If you decide to do a walking meditation, you still walk and you still did a meditation. It's just however you kind of put it together, right? But it's all what matters to you.
So I think that's what makes meditation easy, because if you start at 2 minutes, all right, it only took me 2 minutes just to sit here and not do anything.
Yep. Well, I say yes, no, and maybe then, because that's why. So it just depends on the kind.
It's like being short, tall, and skinny.
At the same damn time. No.
Yeah. So in our practice,
we drink at the same time.
Yeah. In our practice of meditation, we talked about this before. We started out with just doing 5 minutes of meditating.
No, we started out with 2 minutes. Yeah, no, most definitely.
You did 2 minutes. I went all the way in. I was 5 because you was already meditating first.
No. We did 2 minutes together. You didn't go all the way to 5. You pushed.
Minutes? Come on.
No, you
we
pushed.
Can sit right here
you pushed
for 2 minutes.
For the 5. You couldn't do 2 minutes in the beginning. You pushed for the 5 after we did 2. After we mastered 2, and I was like, we're good at 2. You're like, let's go to 5. I was like, all right. And then we went to 5, and then we went to 10. But you always pushed for more. But we did start at 2.
I have no recollection of the 2 minutes, but okay.
That's okay.
That's cool.
And that's fine. So I say in even starting or trying your meditation to start small. Don't start at 5 minutes. If you're not a meditator, you haven't done it, don't jump in at 5 minutes. Just start at 2 minutes. 2 minutes is a nice time to try. It could be, and that's what you're doing. And then initially, right, you're trying. You're not going in, you're not even sure what kind of meditation you're doing. You're just kind of jumping in it and saying, okay, I'm going to be quiet. So for 2 minutes, you're trying to figure out what you're doing, right? Am I being quiet? Am I talking? And what's going on with my thoughts, right? Mm. So I say when you first start meditation to be very gentle with yourself, to take it easy on yourself, right? Because I think a lot of times people are like, I can't do it. This meditation thing isn't for me, because usually after 2 minutes of time, the mind starts to wander and starts to go forward, and you're like, oh, okay, now you're not even meditating, you're somewhere else, right?
True. So I think what will help in that is like, what is meditation? So, for those that, you have people that pray, which is meditation as well. So if you follow any religion that prays and you pray out loud or you pray to yourself, that's a meditation, especially when you're by yourself. Right?
Well, I have different types of meditation. Mm-hmm. So the spiritual meditation is definitely, what you're talking about. That is something I want to get into. I was just going to try to talk about the different ways in the beginning for you to do meditation. If you haven't done meditation before, the ways to kind of ease into. But you're absolutely right. It's prayer. That would be like Taoism, Hinduism, Christianity. These are all sort of forms of meditation. They are praying or sending prayers, silent prayers, out loud prayers. Those are all meditation, to a higher power. So even I say that I believe honestly that even when you do this meditation spiritually, It could be to your higher self, whatever your higher self is. It could be to your higher power, whatever your higher power is. So it doesn't have to be in this religious sort of box.
Exactly.
Per se, but it is a religious act, right? So it is the act of honoring or giving honor to something that is bigger than you or bigger than yourself.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say, and break it down even smaller than that, right? You break it down to even simpler than that, not smaller. So to be even more simple, meditation is just a technique that we use to focus on a particular thing, right? So for those that like, oh, I can't meditate, it's like, no, you can meditate, but think of it as in the terms of all it is a technique that I'm using to focus, and it's a mindful focus, right, on a particular thing. And that particular thing could be anything like Danielle was talking about. It could be an ideology. It could be an object. It could be a thought. It could be an activity. It could be a lot of different things that you meditate on, right? It could be a religion. It could be a habitual thing. It could be a routine for spirituality. But let's go down to the smallest part when people say, oh, I can't do it. Instead of saying I can do it, now say I'm practicing on this technique that I'm using to put a focus on whatever X is.
And some of the things that I know people come up against when they're trying to meditate is they say, well, I fall asleep. Well, you're sleepy.
That's real shit.
Go to sleep. So to me, honestly, it's like if you can't sit up and enjoy it, then you need to go to sleep. And I've been there many times. It's like I'm sleepy. So I'm not able to concentrate. Maybe I'll be good 15 minutes into a meditation, or I'm good 5 minutes in, and then the rest of the time I'm asleep. So it's like it was sleep meditation for my mind.
Which is not, which is not a bad thing either, right? So
no.
So depending on what type of time of the day you decide to meditate, right? You can have your first thing in the morning meditations, which we do, and then you have your nighttime meditations, which will help you.
Well, there's
sleep,
tons of
right?
sleep, tons and tons of sleep meditations. One even I'll give you guys a quick technique if you can't sleep and you're kind of restless and you're trying, like your mind is kind of racing, right, which happens to a lot of us. There's one kind of technique that you can kind of talk to your body parts, tell your toes to go to sleep 3 times, toes go to sleep, toes go to sleep, toes go to sleep. Bottom, the soles of your foot go to sleep, like 3 times each way, right, to the ankle, to the shin, to the knee, all the way up. Generally, if you say these things 3 times each, by the time you get to your hips from left to the right, you'll find yourself drifting and going to sleep. So small little tip, if you can't sleep, it's like a mindful body meditation that you can do as a body scan meditation, actually, to kind of get yourself to sleep.
And that's pretty dope, because that takes you away from the medication, like people with insomnia and stuff like that. I know, there's people, especially on social media, is like, there's sometimes when I get up in the morning and I'll take a look at, my social media, and I'll see a post, anybody up? And that post was
Can't
like
sleep.
4 or 5 hours ago. It's like, what was you doing in the middle of the night? Like, is anybody up? Or, or somebody will post, got insomnia, or I got this. So that's a great, practice to put into play. And it's not counting sheep, right? Remember back in the days,
yes.
like, count sheep, 1, 2, like all of that stuff, it eventually does work, because like you said, it's your mind that's going. So you're trying to slow down your mind and shut that down so that you can relax.
Yes. And the counting sheep, that can work as well too. But what happens is, I know with me, like my sheep became anything that was my issue, right? So it wouldn't be or whatever, I couldn't fall asleep. So it's like, if I have a ton of things to do in the morning, then my sheep become those things. Yeah. And it's like, oh shit, sheep 1, like, oh, I got to do this. Sheep 2, oh, and I got to do that too. And I'm like, oh, this isn't working. It's actually making my mind more full. So along with the spiritual meditation, there's also the mindfulness, right? Meditation. And mindfulness is hilarious to me when I say mindfulness, because I've heard someone say, you want me to do this mindfulness meditation? I thought I wasn't supposed to think of anything, and now you want my mind full? Like, I don't understand this, right? So a mindfulness meditation is just one where you really kind of just acknowledge your reality and where you are. You observe your space, your place, your body. You focus on your breath. That's where your focus is. So you're very mindful of things that are pertaining to you, right? So this is what the mindfulness means. You're mindful of where you are, but you allow yourself to kind of like, I know I'm in this room, but I'll close my eyes and now I'm taking my mind somewhere else, right? And your focus is on the breath.
So something like that for those that would be like, oh, you want my mindful is like, it's not thinking of things, but it's being observant of those things. One thing that I always like to say is, you want to be aware, you want to be observant of who you are and what's happening in the presence of your own self. We tend to not take in consideration that we're not in a room by ourselves, right? It's what's inside you, and then it's the shell that you are inside. You know what I mean? So that observant, you're being observant of that you are inside of a shell, which we call the human body. And then, and that's what the mindfulness and that's what the observant and awareness is taking into place. So pretty dope. So this is the process of how meditation works, right?
And this is different types of meditation. So another part of a mindful meditation as well is just to kind of just observe your thoughts as they come in, right? So you don't judge them, you don't manipulate them, you don't try to change them or anything like that. They just kind of come in.
Yeah, don't be upset with yourself. Yeah.
And there's a app called the Headspace, and this is one of the things that they teach you in the beginning of meditation. It's like as you close your eyes and mindful meditation, you will start to see those thoughts come in, right? So one I love to talk about is cooking, right? It's like I'll close my eyes and I'll start to get into my meditation. And if it's in the morning, like, yeah, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna start thinking about dinner. Like, okay, what could I take out? And I'm like, So now all of a sudden my mind is going to the freezer. So in Headspace, what they say and what I suggest as well is instead of me like, okay, boom, I'm hungry, that first thought came, right? So then I just let it go, and I just let it go, right? I just kind of see it going away. Or I hop on that and say, I'm hungry, what do I have in the freezer? Okay, now that thought's changed, right? It's not just floating away, it's here. And now I got chicken, I got beef, I got this in the freezer. What can I make with that? So now I'm not meditating. Now I'm thinking about my dinner.
Now you're planning.
Now I'm planning. So in being mindful, you're just mindful of those thoughts, and you're not saying to yourself, damn, why do I keep thinking about dinner? Or, you're not going to be hard on yourself. You're not going to say, okay, let me take that dinner and think of it in a mindful way. No, you're not going to manipulate it. You're just going to let it go. You're just going to see it and then let it pass.
So that's a good point that, allow the thoughts to come in your head, right? Because I remember when I first started meditating, I was like, well, am I meditating if I'm thinking? Like I got a lot of stuff that's still going in my head. Right. So all of these thoughts were coming in and I'm like, well, I think I spent the entire 5 to 15 minutes thinking about those things instead of meditating. So when you're first starting out, that's going to happen, right? You're going to have these thoughts. They're going to come through because you're sitting there by yourself. And if you ever try sitting anywhere by yourself, try sitting in the sauna or the steam room by yourself, and you're in there for 15 minutes, right? You're gonna have all kind of thoughts. You might even come out with some new ideas,
right?
And that's the process of meditation.
Yes.
And it will happen. You'll see that, like, oh, I thought about, as humans, we think about 60,000 things every single day, and out of those 60,000 things, we think about the same shit over and over again.
Repeated.
Yeah, it's a loop that we continue to think about all the time. So if you allow that, and it's a term that we've always laugh at. You can't stop a bird from flying over your head, but you can stop that bird from having a nest on your head.
Nest, yeah.
So in your meditation, those thoughts are going to come through. Don't stop on those thoughts. Like Danielle said, just let that shit fly.
Yes. Yep. Let it move. That's dope. Another type of meditation is a movement meditation, right? These are the ones that are like Tai Chi, martial arts, and yoga. Yoga is a union with the mind and the body, right? Yoga is an awesome form of meditation when it's because there's breath to movement, and then there's just the real slow asanas that you just kind of lay in and enjoy, right?
My favorite is the vinyasa, not the vinyasa, but the what's that at the end?
Savasana.
Yeah, Savasana. So for all my yogis out there, Savasana is, as soon as we get to the end, that's when you just lay on your back and the instructor probably put some music on, probably got a little aromatherapy popping at the same time.
Give you little adjustments, massages.
Man, yeah,
that's like amazing.
That's it right there.
Yeah, and then as far as yoga, I think it's very important to just explain the differences, right? There's the hot yoga, and then, I think that it's important to know what your body needs at a time, that it needs it, right? I was doing a lot of hot yoga at a time, and I knew my body was yearning for something slower. I know this. I needed a hatha yoga, which is a slower paced yoga, which is more mindful in the movements. Hot yoga or vinyasas it's a breath to movement. So you breathe in, you move, you breathe out, you move. So every breath is a movement, right? It's pretty quick, and it is. It's not like when people say, "Oh, yoga, it's so this." No, it's exhausting yoga. It kicks your ass, right? And you could add weights to it, and you add heat to it, right? So you add all these things, and it changes. But there's nothing like a slow, nice, like hatha yoga where it's nice and smooth and quiet, and there's you probably sit in the poses for a good 3 to 4 minutes before you move to the next one, right? So you're like 3 or 4 breaths in one pose. You're enjoying it. You're getting all the goodness from that position, and then you move on, right? So sometimes in your life, you need to slow down, especially if you have a job that's always active, where you always have to think on your feet, where you're always moving. Then the type of yoga you want to do is going to be the type that's going to slow your mind down, make you a little more mindful. Now, if you're sitting at a desk all day and you're
no challenge,
then you will want something a little more faster, right? So stay in tune on what you think or what you should do or what you need.
That's a good point, and it's one of those things that I practice all the time. Is I can't watch mindless TV like that. Like that's one of the things, because my mind is going all day, right? So because of everything that we got going on in my daily practice, when it comes to relaxing my mind, mindless TV don't work for me. But if I'm in a yoga pose or if I'm meditating, then that's much better for me when it comes down to the calming down of the mind, right? So that's much easier for me. It's much healthier. Not knocking mindless TV.
I was gonna say, what's mindless TV?
Mindless TV, is the different shows that people watch that you don't get nothing from, right? It's like whatever show that's out there that like absolutely you're like, damn, I just watched 4 hours of this.
Oh, sure, that's everything unless it's a documentary, right?
Yeah. Well, case in point, right? So if you watch a mindless TV, and not saying that TV. It's mindless TV is the stuff that you just sit there and literally you have no thoughts. And to me, mindless TV is not stuff that you're not laughing, you're not. It's nothing to figure out. Like you literally are just sitting there, like you know what I mean. There's no emotion. There was no catchy phrase or clever term that was like, oh man, that was clever the way they put those words, or it's nothing artistic about it. So there's a lot of different mindless content out there, especially social media, things like that. That's mindless TV too. If you're sitting there just scrolling. Through reels all day, So taking a practice like hatha yoga into consideration is huge. And one of the benefits of that is you're meditating while not just sitting still, and you're not alone, but you still are practicing a technique of meditation, because you're focusing on that particular thing, that particular activity.
Which is awesome, which leads me to the next type of meditation that you can use, which is a focus one, right? Focused meditation is when you just focus on something. So you can focus on a cup of tea. So you're drinking your cup of tea. Lots of times people do things in a hurry and a rush, right? We're just kind of like, get it out. But if you actually enjoy a good cup of tea, you're holding the cup, or a cup of coffee, you fill the cup. There's so many different cups. There's the clear cups. There's the
styrofoam.
And ceramic. That was what I was thinking. Ceramic. There's all these different, like, explore the cup, fill the cup. The tea. what are the herbs in the tea? Is it fruity? Is it minty? Is it like what
all the notes?
Yeah. Like it's for coffee as well, for wine. Even though it's not one of the things that they say to do the meditation on, but
you can meditate on anything.
But you can exercise. But you just take your mind to the moment and you stay in the moment and you just meditate on that moment. The tea is good. The temperature, it's warm. How does it feel going down? These are things that you just like. How do the flowers make you feel when you ingest them in your mind? Like different things. That's why there's so many different variations of teas. But here in America, we don't take the time always to appreciate those little things,
Yeah, 1,000%.
But there's 1,000 different variations of tea, and we kind of just like, give me the black tea or just give me the green tea.
Give me the shit that got caffeine in it.
Or but even we've been kind of mindful of not doing caffeine and doing a green tea or like that has like caffeine but better, it's better for us, but it's the flavor and the notes or and then there's the like when you look at the candle flicker. Those kind of, you just focus on the candle and you just focus on it and it just flickers and that's it. You just focus on that flickering of the candle. That's another form of focused meditation.
So what are some of the benefits? Because I have a few of benefits that I've came across, but what are some of the benefits of meditation? Why should people meditate?
I'll let you, since you pulled them up. I have a couple of different more meditation techniques though.
So the benefits, like you've already talked about, is focusing on the present, right? When you're talking about a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, flickering the flickering of a flame, that's all present. Like that's super huge that you identified all of those different things that we kind of just run away with in life, but that's literally just the present moment. So you made mentions of how you hold the cup, the heat of it, the taste, the notes. That's all legitimately being in the present. So that's a benefit of meditation is learning how to focus on the present. And if you take what Danielle just said and start with just a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, that's being in the present versus how we usually take a cup of coffee. It's on the go, right? Or a tea, everything is on the move. So you don't even really enjoy the benefit of everything that's happening in that present moment. Another one is increased patience and tolerance. That's my thing, is the increased patience and tolerance. Meditation has helped me with that over the years because I was the guy that had patience issues and tolerance, and everything was like either, I wouldn't call it my way or the highway kind of a deal, but I was pretty black and white. And black and white in the sense that, if you didn't do a certain thing the way I wanted it done, then I would lose my head, right? So, and I've done classes, we've discussed, I've done classes on anger management, we've talked about parenting classes, we've done all of this stuff, but none of that, anything that I've learned in those classes, none of it hits like meditation. Meditation is what actually taught me how to be more patient, to be tolerant, and be aware of that anger and everything that I have on the inside, or why I'm getting angry, right? Like, cause it's not like, I'm just a walking around angry dude. It's because I don't have the tools to understand how I'm feeling in an emotional and awareness and being observant of that. So meditation has helped me tremendously in those arenas.
And how would you say that meditation helped you in those arenas?
As far as patience and tolerance?
Yeah.
Because the calming and the focus of being aware, of being observant of the present moment.
Okay. That's dope. Yeah, definitely. There's tons of benefits to meditating, tons, from being focused to having a more relaxed life, to being able to hone into your higher self, which is me. Like definitely in my meditation, I'm always seeking out questions or answers to things. So I'll kind of go in with a purpose. And if I have a lot of chatter in my mind, which happens, which I know you alluded to earlier, it's like, okay, if you have these things that are going through your mind, and I said you kind of put them on a leaf and kind of let them flow, or you put them in a car and let it drive away, whatever your caveat is. But also, if you have a lot of chatter that's going on, then sometimes meditation helps you to sort through that chatter. So at the end of it, you come up with an answer. So it's like, all right, I got some things that they're going on, and I just can't figure it out. In meditation sometimes, and just being silent, it kind of pops in, you know. So I like I said, with the whole spiritual meditation, I'll use it as a way to tune in with my higher being or my higher self, which I feel is one and the same.
That's a very good one. It's like giving you a new perspective, right? Like you said, clearing the chatter. That's dope.
Yep. Another form of meditation is visualizations, right? So this is I'll talk about visualizations and guided together, right? Because I feel to have a good visual meditation, it should be guided by someone else. Yeah, you can do it yourself. Yes, you'll take yourself on this journey.
A little tougher, but
it is because you're actively, like, you're firing off two parts of your brain, the part that's thinking and the part that's trying not to think, right? Or trying to
visual.
Yeah. So that's why I kind of lump them in together, because it's nothing like having a guided voice smoothly telling you like what to do, so to speak. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like it when I dance, like, get low, I'm like, oh, get low, drop your booty, oh, drop my booty. Totally not meditation, but you know what? It's telling me.
No, but you do like songs that tell you what to do.
It's telling me what to do, you know? So.
if anybody would have seen my face when she said, I was like,
where's she going with this?
How you go from meditation and chatter to what? Get low? I'm like, I already know what song you're talking
Drop
about.
your booty to the floor. What? To the floor.
See, that visualization right there took me. See how visualization works? I went right there. I done seen it. I seen you drop it. I seen you listen to that song, doing what it said. Damn.
Just like that. So I kind of like my meditation the same way, which now I can do just a silent meditation, because sometimes I really do need silence. Because I have a lot of people in my life and a lot of chatter in my head. So sometimes I just need quiet, right? But when I have a good guided meditation, when someone's taking me all the way to, like, from a river to the mountaintop to where I leave some shit up there, and then I come back down all serene, and I see like a shaman on my way down, and I leave some things with him, or he tells me something, you know, like, I love that type of stuff. And it opens up parts in my mind that I really didn't know was there. So it's like, oh shit, I didn't know that, you know? So I like that. And I feel like it takes someone else kind of to open up or guide me through those different variations of that meditation.
You know, and that's cool, because those guided meditations help with the chatter that you talked about, and it helped with those thoughts, because now you have somebody that's putting a new thought into your head. And the visualization meditations is in what Danielle's talking about. If you just YouTube, you know, a guided meditation, you'll have people that say, all right, imagine that you're sitting in a green pasture. There's tall green grass around you, or you're in the forest, or you're next to a lake. That's what visualization is referencing. So if you've never had a visualization opportunity, or you never did a visualization meditation, that's what Danielle is talking about in this practice.
Yes, I love visualization and meditation and guided meditations. They are amazing, and I actually do them and have done them with people.
And you're great.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So
thank you.
One thing that we haven't talked about is Danielle used to do. It started out as manifesting meetings, right? So Danielle had a manifesting meeting that was pretty dope. But one thing that we've done back in the days is we got scared of our own success, or, you know, we kind of self-sabotage.
So true.
So when things kind of got, you know, weird, or not weird,
too big,
or if somebody didn't show up, right, it was like, all right, well, this is not for me. But for the moments that were successful, and the people that came really took away, was the meditation, when you guided them through, and we're talking about multiple different ones. Like, you had the Yoga Nidra one, right? Where you had to do that for for training.
That's a little different. Yeah. So yoga nidra is I am a yoga nidra. I have been trained to do yoga nidra, but also the manifesting meetings were something different than that.
Yeah, but
the
what
manifesting meetings was when we had people over, and then the yoga nidra was just like a small set of people.
But either way, people was coming over, and the thing that Danielle guided you through at that moment, it was like when you woke up, when you came out of it, you was like, man, that was great. Thank you. And then you went on to record. Now, I'm going to tell you how so dope it was. When I first started studying affirmations and getting my morning routine together, I asked Danielle to record. I wanted to hear her voice every single morning. So I said, hey, I want you to record these affirmations for me. It was like my guide, right? It was like, this is what's going to get me going for the day. And you recorded, I asked you to record a certain thing. You recorded it. That was in my phone every single morning.
It was like this: Tommy Walker, you are wonderful. Yeah. Tommy Walker, you are amazing.
Just like
Tommy
that in that
Walker,
voice.
You are great. Tommy Walker, you can do anything you desire. Just like that.
Just
in
like
that voice.
In that voice. So every morning at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, that's what I was listening to. The dopest shit ever.
That's my baby. I love you. I love you. That was his guided meditation, which leads me to the next meditation variation that you could do, which is mantras, right? Now, mantras not to be confused with a prayer, which, a prayer can be something that's said over and over again, right? Like Jesus, 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 whatever it is, right? God, 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 whatever it is. Help me, help me. Whatever your spiritual thing is, then you can say that over and over again in a spiritual meditation. But a mantra is something a little different than that, right? So a mantra would be like Om. So these are different words that are in the yoga world. So a mantra would be Om. So you would just repeat Om, Om. So these are just things that Om is like as one. And I'm like, I'm going blank. You have the computer, babe. Look it up. Om is I am. I believe it is I am. I don't know. My mind just went blank. I don't do a lot of mantra meditation, but I do know some. And mantras could be sung. Oh, Shanti Shanti is one that people use often. And these are things that you say repetitively. One of the first experiences that I had with mantras was, I think, a lot of people's first experiences, and that was on What Love's Got to Do with It, when Angela Bassett playing Tina Turner, that was her escape, right? So she went into this meditation world, and she began to say her mantra over and over again, and through that mantra she gained freedom.
That's true. Yep. So Om is I am, and basically it's a connection. And actually, it helps you lower blood pressure. It's a lot of different things.
Oh right? Yeah, meditation is definitely. I forgot all about those the health benefits. Right, it helps you lower your blood pressure and all that good stuff. But yes, Om is I am, and basically when you do a mantra like Om over and over again, it's just like I am what I am. And that's it, right? So you're just kind of giving yourself like, I am. I am. I'm here. I am. But there's a lot of good mantras. Meditating is it easy? Is it hard? I say it is what you want it to be. It's only hard if you make it hard. It can be easy. You just lay down, relax. Like anything, it takes practice. Once you've practiced it, it'll come easier.
Super dope. I totally agree with you. Meditation is definitely what you make it. Don't be hard on yourself. Yep. Don't be hard on yourself. 2 minutes at a time, and it just takes the first 2 minutes of just being silent, and then you take it from there. It's life is shit.
Life is shit.
Do us a favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Leave a review. Let us know what your thoughts are. That's the only way that this show is going to be successful. And we appreciate you. Talk with you next time.